Ron here with Tech Tips to Go. So last night was kind of like an iffy day where, I'm Eastern Time, Toronto, looking at the markets and Vechain is down. And this morning, we have a change, based on some great news. But before we get into the video, I just want to say, and I want to do a shout out for all the guys who subscribe to my channel, support the channel. I know majority of you guys are like the Vechain family, but I also do talk about Ethereum and Bitcoin. But this is for the vet fam, and shout out to you guys. So I'm going to start out with Gypsy King. Next is Vami, Slick Rick, Remrod Films, Touche, obviously 101 Vechain, V Lee, Barbara Taylor, Training for Life, Tony Yip, Daniel Benesty, Redskins Does, Paul, Rob Pastor, Ron Allen, Michael Spastic, Palomar Career Center, Terry Williams, Yami, David Forbes, Ryan Ma, Broxing Gaming, Vami, Babe Blader, Steve G, Gypsy King I mentioned, Jonathan Mitchell, Fishcorn, and let me see who else is here. Kemet, CM, Slick Rick, and R. Williams. AJ Tomlinson as well, Chewy Alba, Sean Steer, I mentioned, Mike, Millie Crypto, Florin FR, and Thor 63, David and Demi Gomez, and Mike Douglas. Anyways, if I left any of you guys out, just let me know. Anyways, let's get into the video. So, last night I was looking at the markets and I was having a little conversation on Twitter with 101 Vechain, and we're kind of going strategy, thought process, where we think the markets are going to go, good buys, bad buys, selling XRP for some more Ethereum because Ethereum staking, or maybe bagging more XRP, bagging more Vechain. But, a lot of us have already bagged as much as we can in Vechain. Now we're kind of like the waiting stages because we don't want to bag too much. I always like to talk about diversification. But anyways, let's get into the news here. So, great news for Vechain. I know a lot of people were kind of wondering, well, when is it going to boom? When is it going to boom? But if you look at the markets, like all of the markets are still down. And we're coming towards the Bitcoin halving. And the trend line in the pattern for Bitcoin halving, it was always around like maybe I think 6 to 8 months after the halving. So I think we should kind of reassess there. But here is the news. And I had a tweet that came to me, and so here's the news. It says Vechain, MasterCard, and Alipay join Australia China Supply Chain Consortium. Now, someone was asking me, what the definition of consortium is. Now, consortium is here. So I pulled it up for you. So the definition is an agreement, combination, or group as of companies formed to undertake an enterprise beyond the resources of any one member. So basically, in this article, it's basically saying like these three companies, Vechain, MasterCard, and Alipay, which is huge, enormous, like they're taking over this big project for the country of Australia, for all of Australia, 76 billion. It says here 76 billion of exports to China. So all of the exports going to China, it mentions it here when it talks about food, wine, produce using the blockchain technology. Now, people are thinking, well, does MasterCard have their own blockchain technology? Does Alipay? No, like Vechain is known for their expertise. So each one of them are kind of specializing in their own niche. Vechain being the blockchain technology. So they're going to be using vet, gas, etc. MasterCard for payment solutions, Alipay for the payment. So this article, I'm not going to go deep into it. I just want to make this video to kind of do like a shout out and give you some news about this. And from what we've seen on Binance, this morning we were sitting about 0.0041. Like I mentioned, there was a dip last night, and then we had a skyrocket to 0.0046. Which is great, that's a great percentage of gains. Hopefully we maintain that. But as you can see here, we're kind of falling down to about 0.0043. But I think we can maintain these levels depending on what news comes out in terms of like investors and whales coming into the BTC markets. So, I don't know if you look at candlesticks and everything, but I'll get into the explanation of like opening and closing your candlesticks and some more. I don't really like to do technical analysis because I don't want to put people off, like following my buys, because I'm going to tell you like right now, like not 100% of my calls are successful. Majority of them are. Like I've been doing well over the last 2-3 years, but it's just not something that I like to talk about a lot. Maybe I will later on, but right now I just like to talk about like the news and kind of like what's going on. But anyways, yeah, that's good. It's great news for VeChain. Like for all those three companies to kind of get together to tackle, Australians like $76 billion export to China is great news because this is where it becomes more adoption. Think of all the other countries that are starting to hear about blockchain technologies, and especially in supply chain, guys, because this all deals with supply chain. It deals not only with supply chain, but it also deals with like authenticity. Kind of like the my story, like where is this product coming from, who is it manufactured. Then you could also add in temperature sensors, right? Because just think of all of the food, like, and when it comes to temperature sensors, when we do temperature sensor solutions, we do warehouse management solutions with cold storage. So when I know that there's a cold storage solution, I know that we're getting 30% more revenue based on a typical solution. Because when it comes to cold temperature rooms, freezer rooms, anything below zero, we have to include different devices, and then we have to take kind of like precautionary measures, or kind of do more due diligence in terms of like how we place products, how we place tags, what kind of scanners are we going to use so that the scan engine doesn't create too much condensation, so the pickers can scan products or QR codes, etc. So this is great because it's just not just supply chain, but there's traceability, there's media content that can be integrated into everything. And on top of that, the reason why I like this news so much is because it's just not one part of the city. This is Australia, 76 billion of exports to China, and just think of all the other countries that are going to be like thinking and seeing, well, what did Australia do with blockchain technology and who are they working with? Great thing, it's VeChain. And this was the great, the big news that David and Darius on Twitter, what he mentioned with his big news coming. So when I saw that, I'm always, I don't give them kind of like the benefit of doubt on, but I'm always just weary and just saying, okay, well, news is going to come. How big is it going to be? I tend not to get my hopes up too high. But when I saw this, I was like, wow, this is great news. Still with the whole pandemic thing going on, like we're not going to see tons of big movement because there's still consumer confidence. Traditional and retail investors are still not putting a lot of their money into markets, whether it's cryptocurrencies or stock investments. People are kind of holding and waiting out for the rainy days, waiting for that vaccine so everything can get back to work, like normal work. But once people get back to normal work, there's still that issue of consumer confidence, of spending. That's when more people are going to be putting their money into the stock market or their cryptocurrency market. Then you'll start to see things rise, right? And that's why I'm not getting my hopes up too high with the next bull run. Not the next bull run, but when the next bull run will come, right? We could be delayed 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year, maybe a year and a half. So that's why I keep saying, kind of like have a little patience, guys. Especially when it comes to like VeChain and more, and just other altcoins. Just kind of just have patience. Like this news is also something to take. Like, okay, they signed this great partnership. Now people are expecting it to moon right away, but until you see a lot of transactions, more stuff on the testnet, more stuff on the mainnet, VTH burn, and as you see transaction rise, then that's great because then more believers are going to be coming in for VeChain and so on. So anyways, I wanted to make this short. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and I'll see you in the next one.